Great, thank you. Thank you, Patrick, and welcome to the January 23rd Zoning Board hearing. Tonight we have two hearings. Both of them are in the 40B components. One is 21 Beaver Street, and the other one is 310 Fortune Boulevard. So with that, we'll dive right in. First of all, board members, I have the minutes from the 21 Beaver Street and 310 Fortune Boulevard minutes from the November 26th meeting. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion to approve by John. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mark. All those in favor? Opposed? That is unanimous. Pass this down to Melissa, please.
Drop-off locations.
I don't think so, other than that, we talked to the school department.
Thank you. Okay, this is on the continued application of East Main Street Properties, Inc., 32 Hastings Street, amended for a comprehensive permit pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 40B, in relation to a 14.64-acre parcel of land located at 21 Beaver Street, which parcel is shown on the assessor's sheet 44, lot 25A. The petitioner proposes to develop and construct a 103-unit rental apartment development on the site, with not less than 26 of the units to be restricted as affordable for the low to moderate income persons pursuant to the applicable provisions of the law and requirements of the financing agency. Project eligibility letter was issued to Mass Housing Finance in relation to the site on October 24th. As we know, this is a continued hearing. Things will continue to come in, and we'll address those as they come. Copies, I'm sure, have been provided to the applicant along with board members. There's a couple of things in here that maybe you all have copies of, but I'll just do a brief paraphrasing on some of these. The planning board reviewed this at their regular scheduled meeting on 12/17 and recommended the following. The planning board has made an unfavorable recommendation based on deficiency noted in the town plan letter, and I'll paraphrase the town plan letter. The above referenced 40B development is proposed on a portion of 310 Fortune Boulevard located within the Granite Park industrial area and zoned as the industrial. It consists of one 4-story building with 52 rental units consisting of 28 one-bedroom, 18 two-bedroom, and six 3-bedroom units. All rental units. All units will be eligible for the count of the town's SHI, which was recently updated to 9.5%. The proposed 7.8 acre development site is subdivided from the existing 10.03 acre lot. Planning board has reviewed the proposal and wanted to note the following deficiencies, and I'll just bring them through really quick. The access drive from Fortune Boulevard is overly circuitous. Number 2, the access drive lacks vertical curve and clearance analysis for fire trucks. Fire lane does not extend around the southeastern side of the building. There's a 20-foot grade change within 60 feet between the buildings and the parking lot for 420 Fortune Boulevard, which is the adjacent site to the southeast. There are only 98 parking spaces for the 52 residential units. 22 of the parking spaces are along the access drive and a distance from the building. There's no provision for visitor parking. There is very limited usable open space provided. Recreation areas along the access drive and distance from the building. Therefore, based on these deficiencies, they recommend that an unfavorable report be sent off to the zoning board of appeals. So I'll just go through a couple of the ones that have come in since the last meeting. Sewer department, water department are here. So I'll start with the water department. I believe you all have copies of the water department letter, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Again, this is the same thing that we've had for the last number of years. The water department is now owned by the town of Milford and has done some amazing upgrades and worked tirelessly to try and get this back up online. As I think David Contra mentioned in the last hearing, we're just trying to get back to where we were before. Correct, Dave?
That's correct.
So some of the daily demands are here. I'll go over them quickly. Stone Ridge 1, 31,000 gallons a day. Birch Street, 18,500 gallons a day. 18,000. Stone Ridge 2, 33,800 gallons a day. Stone Ridge Summit is estimated at 17,200 gallons a day. 21 Beaver Street is estimated at 11,800 gallons a day. 310 Fortune Boulevard is estimated at 6,900 gallons a day, and other new subdivisions are actually running at about 29,800 gallons a day. So the current gallonage of those complexes is 149,000 gallons. Current average daily demand is 2,475,000 gallons. Current daily available supply is 3,070,000 gallons. Available customer daily is 2,921,000 gallons. So currently, it's showing we have an excess of 464,000 gallons a day once these, or all of these go online. And I need to absolutely, and again, we're back down this whole situation. 50% of the water supply comes from Echo Lake. So if Echo Lake gets drained, we're going to have some restrictions, and they're going to be major. So it's laid out in this letter, and clearly, I don't know what's going to happen 20 years from now. Probably won't be here, but my children will be here. So with that, I wanted to bring that up. Dave, do you have any updates concerning this? As far as, I know that the applicant that came in from the summit indicated that they were not running at 33,000 gallons a day. It was less than that, but you can't confirm that.
Nope, I cannot at this point.
How would we go to confirm that? Actual readings or?
So we have been collecting data since they started leasing at the
Units?
facilities,
Yeah.
at the units. But as of right now, we're not comfortable that we're at 100%,
Right.
that every single unit is fully occupied, so.
Based on what I'm told, I'm pretty sure Stone Ridge 2 is almost full, or at 98%, I'm told. Kenzo, I think, is identical, almost, or pretty close. Would it be prudent for us to try and see if we can get some readings from those two?
Yeah, yep.
Is it one main water gate in there that we can take the reading?
No, so each building has its own meter.
You have full access to that, correct?
Correct. And we grab them every month. So we're reading those on a monthly basis. So I'll have to take a look at what the 12-month numbers are looking like. They should be fairly consistent, although, again, I don't know how long they've been at that 98%, as opposed to, beginning of the summer where we had 50, 60.
When Stone Ridge 2 came in for their slight modification, I believe they indicated that Stone Ridge 1 was just about full. And that was almost a year ago. Yeah. So I'd like to see if we can hone in on that, just so that we have a solid idea of what we anticipate. Water usage is usually more during the spring and summer, I would assume?
Not so much for these type of facilities because
It's consistent.
there no irrigation's tied into it.
Right.
So
if they've got pools, that would be an increase, right?
Yeah, but again, the pool water is limited. I mean, that initial fill up.
Yeah.
But we know that.
Right,
because
so that's ahead.
The pool building has its own meter. So
Okay.
we can see that as an anomaly because it's so much.
So if we could get a reading from Kenzo and Stone Ridge
And
1.
just for me, what's Kenzo?
Birch Street.
Oh, and Birch Street, you're thinking is that?
Birch Street is full, yeah. I'm told that Birch Street is almost full, or 95,
Okay,
80, 98%,
yeah.
and that hovering about 18,005 gallons. It would just be nice to see, because if we know that those are that close and full, then we know that month, XYZ gallons, we can calculate and say, okay, at 98% occupancy level, this is what they're actually using. It may help us, or help you, or help anybody at that point. Okay? So, again, the water issue is going to continue to be there, and it's basically managed.
Yep.
And I think you guys are doing a great job managing this. Any other wells that need to come online still?
No, right now, we're in the process of cleaning wells. So they're out at Godfrey Brook to do some cleaning, which anytime we do cleaning, brings them back to where their capacity was for at least a few years down the road, you know what I mean?
Do we have anything on the, do we have a well on the town of Milford's property that was acquired, the Consigli property on Diller Street? Is there a possibility for a well location there?
So recently, I did have somebody pop up. One of the old engineer reports showed a potential site out there. I had no records of it. They just happen to have these records of a potential, but I have no backup on it, so I had no idea of where this potential site came from. And I'm not sure why it would have never been pursued.
I think the water company, before Dave's time, did
Yeah.
actually pursue that and looked at Louisa Lake and Consigli property. They actually spent a lot of money on it, and ultimately, the water company at that time rejected it as not feasible.
Yeah, because I was told that there's a good availability possibly for an additional well if town needs it.
Yeah. I don't remember the reasons, but there
Yeah, there must have been something, because it didn't go anywhere, that's for sure.
Well,
But I mean,
if he was dealing with my uncle, he wasn't going anywhere.
But I can get you that by next week, Dave.
Okay.
The usage for those two.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay. All right, with that, we'll go over to sewer. This has come from GHD. This has been sent over to Richard Senadella, Chairman, Board of Commissioners, and John Magnini, the manager. We have completed a general review of the sewer infrastructure that would be impacted by the project referenced above and have to determine that work will needed to be at the 109 pump station. This includes a full pump station upgrade, including but not limited to wet wells. John, can you kind of clarify, please?
Yeah, that's the corner of 109 and 16, East Main Street Pump Station. That's right at capacity now. Sometimes it will run almost 20 hours in a day, just pumping.
Okay.
So it's all that stuff.
So that's going to be reviewed.
Yeah.
Any other comments concerning that?
Well, like it says, it will probably need a bigger pump and bigger wet well.
I thought there was I thought I had a detailed letter in here. Did I have a detailed letter in here from you?
Should be something.
You should have it, just January 17th.
Yeah, I've got
Sure,
it
just
just,
one paragraph. I think that's all.
I thought they had
so far.
no, there was another one sent.
Right about relining something and,
That's on the Beaver Street one.
oh, sorry.
That's a Beaver Street one?
Something to do with the force main.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that was on the,
Beaver Street one's going to require a lining of the existing gravity line and changing the force main and looking at the pump station of bigger wet well.
okay, so we can address that at that. Okay. Just so board members are aware, you know, and the applicant also got a copy of that from the school committee. Clearly, they're concerned with having occupancy issues at the town and students because we're already overwhelmed, but that's not something that we can, it's under our purview, but,
Are you saying that the school committee sent a letter?
yeah, they have a copy, right?
Or is it my letter, my analysis?
I think, I think we sent it to you. The school committee sent a letter, yes.
We haven't seen that.
Well, we'll give it to you.
Yeah, we can give it to you. I don't have two.
I'll send it to you, Lynn. I just found it on the website.
Yeah, but it needs to come from the town to us.
Yeah, we'll get you that letter over. It's in the folder, yeah. Okay. With that, you got a copy of the traffic accident report, I'm assuming? Did that come over to you as well?
The peer review?
Traffic report from the police department?
Nope.
Okay, can we get that over? It came from the chief.
And we had that at last meeting.
Yeah, and I have it. It covers everything, unfortunately. It covers everything on Route 16. Then that's not from the consultant, that's separate from the consultant.
What's the date on the police department letter?
This came in by email. I have a copy of this, so I'll give it to you, but I'll go over it real quick. At Cedar Street, motor vehicle accidents 105, this is year-to-date. A fatality, 1. Another section, accident hit and run, 9. Personal injury, motor vehicle collision, another 1. Motor vehicle collisions, accidents, 5. Deer Street, that's on Deer Street, that's not really... Yeah, but no, he included Fortune Boulevard on this. He's got Fortune Boulevard, they have 38 motor vehicle hit and run with no personal injury, 6, hit and run with personal injury, 1, and pedestrian 1. I just don't know if you got it, so I want to make sure you have a copy of that. That's all. This goes in this file.
I can't, it's too small, I can't read it.
Okay, CEI.
No, wasn't.
This is on,
Accident data, doesn't say anything.
I don't have the CEI in here. Why isn't the CEI here? It's in here somewhere. Have you had an opportunity to take a look at the CEI report?
Yes.
Traffic and,
Yeah, can you finish going through what you're going through, and then we'll go through what we've
that's
gone through?
exactly what I want to do.
Good, okay, we do have the peer reviews, thank you very much.
Yeah, we have, yep.
You have that, correct?
We have the CEI, correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so for right now, I'll turn it over to you. I did get a letter in here, and I'm happy to read it. Kind of paraphrase it. This came over from Tariq Fahad. This is on Beaver Street. Yeah, let me just read this into the record so everybody's aware of it. And this is apparently done by, I would believe, the applicant. I don't know if this was something that was done independently, but the initial ZBA hearing for the subject property on November 26th, the applicant for the subject property was asked by the chair of the zoning board of appeals to provide information justifying the parking waiver for the subject property. The two most similar developments of the subject property are Canzo and the Quill. The reason they're most similar is that they are more modern and higher quality rental projects than other older rental developments in Milford. They also have the same affordability requirements. They therefore are targeting the same customer as the subject property. However, they both have higher proportions of 2- and 3-bedroom units. The Quill has 272 units with 127 2- and 3-bedroom units representing 47% of the units. Canzo has 162 units with 96 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom units representing 59% of all the units. Townview is proposing 103 units with 42 2- or 3-bedroom units, representing 39% of all the units. We set out to determine the number of parked cars at each of these two properties during the weekday mornings, evenings, and Saturday mornings. And then they provided this information, which is fine, and I don't know who did this. Was it done independently?
It was me.
So you did this?
My company did the research for all of
I
them.
see the consulting group.
That's my company.
Okay. Based on the research, it appears that most cars were present on Saturday morning. To be conservative, we've assumed that all garage parking spaces were occupied by one car. We next determined the ratio of cars to units to be 1.21 for Quill and 1.44 for Canzo, and an average of 1.3. Subject property is proposing 150 off-street parking spaces on a ratio of 1.52 spaces per unit of the subject property. Units have less bedrooms overall than the Quinns of Cansford. Therefore, you believe that the waiver of reducing the number of parking spaces is required by the Milford zoning bylaw supported. Again, that's your consultant report. So with that, go ahead. I'll turn the table over to you.
Oh, thank you, Chairman Consigli. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to give just a quick update of what we've done since the last meeting. I'm joined here by our civil engineering firm, John Kusick from Bowler, and our attorney, Jonathan Silverstein from Blattman, Bobrowski, Haverty, and Silverstein. If you can say that 4 times fast, you're in good shape.
No way.
So at the last hearing, so as you stated,
Beaver.
our office, as a follow-up to 2 issues that were brought up at the hearing last week, parking and school-age children. With regard to parking, we had someone go out and count cars at 7 a.m. in the morning and 7 p.m. at night on 2 weekdays, as well as Saturday at 8 a.m. at both Canso and the Quill, to determine how many cars were going to be or parked there. Both properties have garages, so we made the very conservative assumption of assuming that there was 1 car in every garage, in addition to what was in each parking space. And so we came up with an average for both properties, and our proposed parking ratio is higher than what is currently being parked at those properties. It is our understanding that they are fully occupied at this point in time. The interesting thing was that the most cars were parked on Saturday morning, so I'm glad that we took the extra effort to count cars, and so on and so forth. So we did that for both properties. In addition, I had received data from the school department with regard to the number of school-age children at both Canso and Quill for the past school year. They don't, I guess, have historic data, but they have current data. We applied, we looked at our 2- and 3-bedroom units where there were school-age children. And again, we applied the ratio, the average ratio of the other 2 properties against ours, and we came up with an estimate for, the benefit of the school department for planning purposes, that Beaver Street, if that's the one that we're talking about right now, would have 9 school-age children, but you have to understand that that's going to be spread out from, kindergarten all the way through high school. So at the end of the day, 12th grade, that's not a lot. The number for Fortune was significantly less. I think it was 6, because there's just not that many units there. So we provided both of those, memos to you to answer the questions that you asked about both parking and school-age children. We're happy to go through them in more detail if you'd like that. Our office does a lot of fiscal impact studies. This is something that we've been doing for years. We also spoke with the school department about where they would like us to locate the school bus drop-off and pickup. And he basically said at the end of your sidewalk for both properties is the logical location, because the residents will be basically traversing the sidewalks down to the public right-of-way. And as we all know, that they're not going to put private school buses onto, they're not going to put public school buses onto a property. So he was very, very comfortable with.
Just stop it right here.
Yes.
Safety is paramount.
Yes.
The town has a bylaw that we can now pick up private property trash
Yep.
in private developments.
Yep.
It's ridiculous to be going down the road of allowing private property and trash pickup in private property and condo developments and not having children be able to have access for the same stuff. So now we're saying trash is more important than the children. Safety is paramount in every project.
Yes.
And this is going to be one of them that's going to be a safety issue.
Yes.
I want to make sure whatever happens on this site, that safety is paramount for these kids. From a kids count, it fluctuates all the time. And I can tell you right now, just the Quill alone has got 23 to 25 kids in that complex, and K-2 is 10 of them. So these kids are now walking down a street at a 4-lane intersection. That's safety. That's a safety problem.
That's not our property. I don't know why we're being
What
compared
I'm
to
saying
that.
is, this property and your other property, we're going to go
Yes.
down the same road, because safety's going to be an important aspect.
Understood.
So from a
Understood.
sidewalk standpoint, if there's a sidewalk on there, that's
There
great.
is.
And if we're going to do a hut for the kids, just even better.
Yeah. Again,
My concern is, so you have my comments. Most people in the apartment complex get in their car and go to the end and sit in their car and wait until the bus shows up and then lets the kids out of the car. So from this curb cut, we want to make really sure that this radius will work and also that the children will have safety in and out of there. I know that the planning board hates this curb cut. I brought up the suggestion of maybe doing something similar to what was done at Lowe's and Marriott. Apparently, you didn't care to take a look at that, and that's your prerogative, but that's my focus is the safety of the access in and out. That's my paramount safety process. So I just want to bring that out because I'm not going to leave on that note until that's rectified.
Can I ask you a question while we're talking about that? If buses are going to be allowed to go onto private property?
they're not.
No, they're not.
They're not.
That is not, I don't know where that came from.
The
If you would let- if
school
you-
has a policy.
I was going to say, if you would let me finish talking about what I'm trying to talk about, then, and honestly, I would be very happy to answer your question. The conversation with the superintendent was, he looked at the plans with me. He absolutely had no problem with where they were being, where we were planning on locating them. You have a peer reviewer that is also, going to be looking at these matters, but there is the only conversation as to when the public school system might send a vehicle onto the property is if there was handicapped or special
Handicapped
needs.
disability, right.
And they would send a van to the property for that reason. So, I'm sorry, what's your question?
Well, if they were hypothetically going to be able to go onto private property, then you'd want to grab that and bring it in, get it away from Fortune
Yeah,
Boulevard. But
this
it's a
is
moot
not gonna
point because
happen
it's
on
not going to
this.
happen.
Yeah, and Fortune Boulevard is again, it's a one-way road, and we have been very careful about creating sidewalks throughout both of the properties to ensure safe pedestrian access, and we, I believe the peer reviewer may have even, weighed in on the slope of Fortune Boulevard. So I hear your concerns. We're there with you just as well. The property is going to be professionally managed as far as, if it starts to be that cars start idling down there, they're going to be dealt with by management. That's a safety issue for everybody. So moving on from the school-age children, the parking, the location of the school bus drop-off pickup. The team met with the police department. They came away from that meeting feeling that there did not appear to be any issues. They met with the fire department, and the fire department seemed to be satisfied with the changes that were made to Fortune Boulevard. There did not appear to be any issues walking away from that as well. We are in receipt of the peer reviews for stormwater and traffic. We did not have time, by the time we got them, to respond for this meeting. I know that John has also met with the water department and sewer. So I'm just going to focus a little bit on the traffic, and then I'm going to have John talk about sort of next steps with regard to the peer reviews and whatnot. We believe the traffic peer review recommended that we study a couple more intersections, which our traffic consultant agreed to. In fact, they were, I believe, counting the cars today. We believe that we should be able to have, and we have no concerns whatsoever to the traffic peer review. We believe we can answer all of the questions that were asked, and that we'll have a response to you by February 5th. So presumably, your peer reviewer can absorb what our responses are, and perhaps we could handle traffic at the next meeting.
You're going to be addressing everything that from our peer review that was sent to you.
For the traffic, yeah. They suggested studying a couple more intersections, but our traffic peer reviewer had no issues with anything that was brought up and is preparing, they'll prepare a response, line by line. If there's a comment, they'll provide, their response. So
On the
we,
CEI review, there's a few things here, Stan, that has been not met. So you're going through all of those?
yes, so for now, I'm just responding to the traffic piece, which is sort of the last
But you're going to be
part of the peer
responding to the
review.
entire,
So the response to the traffic peer review should be ready in the next week to 10
no,
days.
that's fine. I'm just saying
Yes.
from what was provided,
Yes. And then John is going to speak to
the others.
the stormwater. So why don't I just turn it over to you to sort of give an update of
Quick question.
I got a
where
question
everything's at.
regarding the buses.
The buses.
Okay. I wanted to go back there, but I
Sorry.
didn't get a chance to get in there.
Okay.
They're going to be stopping in front of the entranceway, correct? Because they can't go on the property, so they'll be stopping in front of
The-
facing,
Yeah, so Fortune Boulevard, the sidewalk comes down to this side of the driveway, so the bus is going to be stopping
it's
before,
still stopping on
before they get to the driveway.
Orchard Boulevard.
Yeah, on Beaver Street,
Trying to figure out which way they're going to swing around to stop in front of, well, they can't obviously stop on the other side of the street because, I mean, they can, but I'd be very worried of a child crossing.
I think,
I know.
I think we have to leave it to the bus company and the school department to determine what is best. He was comfortable with the locations as far as the rest of the
I
details.
don't have a problem with
What-
the bus stopping, it's
Yeah, whatever
it's
they,
crossing, that's a tough one.
we're not contemplating that they're going to be crossing anything.
It's a two-way street.
Correct.
It's not a one-way street.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
We
yeah.
got people not stopping for buses to begin with and now they're crossing basically 4 lanes.
On the way home.
I don't believe that
On the way
recommend
home, the way home,
stopping.
depending on which.
There was this, they said this is where the school drop-off pickup is at the end of our at the end of our sidewalk. So if he thought that they were going to have to be on the other side of the street,
From 109.
there would have been a very different discussion. It was the superintendent, let me just look up his name.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
He's not crossing the street.
But I understand your concern. There was no mention of anybody crossing across.
Well, I'm just thinking that the
you know.
buses, I'm just going to
Yeah.
throw this out there because it's going to be addressed again. There's no two ways around it. It's going to come up again.
Yeah.
The possibility of a crossing guard being there in the morning and in the afternoon.
No way.
What do you mean, why no way?
No way. And the school department's not going to do that.
I'm not saying the school department.
We would not agree to that kind of a
Crossing
condition.
guard for,
You could have kids crossing 4
Mr.
lanes.
Chairman, if I can, the transportation coordinator will set up the routes.
Yeah, it was
So
Mr.
that won't
McIntyre.
happen.
Yeah.
That's what he does. He sets up the routes where the bus is going to go.
Pull with us.
So that won't happen.
As long as they can pull in front of that driveway and
No,
not cross
they'll
that
set
street.
that up. It's not their issue. The school department will do that once they have the location.
I'm bringing it up now because I don't want to readdress it 3 meetings from now.
So I understand the school department will be on top.
You
I'm going
mentioned
to leave
about,
that on you with the school department.
I'll leave it with the school department. I got nothing to do with it.
you mentioned, okay. You mentioned about the hut. Where are you putting it?
We're not putting a HUD. It is a location that we are going to locate on a map. There is no reason whatsoever that we're not going to put a
Well,
HUD.
I'm going to have a problem if you don't.
Okay, thank you.
So at least make an effort to take a look
We're not
at it.
going to put a HUD up for 6 students.
Well, that's your opinion, okay? And frankly, with that attitude, that isn't going to fly with me.
Okay.
Me either.
So I need you to look at this for the safety of these children that may be in this complex, whether they're 7, 10, or 4. This is a busy street, and this curb cut is a tough curb cut. And we know that cars are going to just go down there, whether they're 5 or 6 of them, are going to affect that entrance coming out. I'm strictly about safety here. But you having that attitude, telling me you're not going to do it, is not acceptable. It's not acceptable.
You know, with all due respect, putting up a HUD all it's going to do is most likely going to interfere with sight lines, which we don't want to do for cars entering and exiting.
Maybe you need to widen this entrance better a little bit to make it flow better. And I asked you to look at that and you didn't look at that. I asked you that the first meeting, and you didn't even look at it. All I'm asking for is cooperation. We're trying to cooperate with you. We don't need to be stonewalled, and I don't want to be stonewalled working with you. I want to be able to work through this.
I
We're not a different
honestly,
community
the,
that's not friendly.
the two things you asked us to look at was the parking and school-aged children, which we have done.
The parking and then the entrance to see if we could look at something like that was
Okay,
done
are we
at
on,
Lowe's.
so
and
I'm a little
look at it.
confused. You opened the meeting for Beaver. We've been talking about Beaver and
I'm not
about
changing.
Fortune.
I want to stay right now,
Okay,
I'm
so
talking about.
what's your
no,
concern about Beaver, on the entrance to
I'm
Beaver?
talking about Fortune.
Okay, but you opened the hearing for Beaver, and that's why I'm having a hard time following.
Yeah.
You
Well,
opened the hearing for Beaver. Do you want to also open up the
yeah,
hearing for
exactly.
Fortune?
Beaver is the planning board had some issues with the entrance.
We're in Fortune Boulevard or Beaver now. That was up there.
We were,
On Fortune Boulevard.
the hearing was open for Beaver, so do you want to open?
Maybe it didn't.
Maybe you should open for both, since it feels like we're talking about both.
I think we need to stick to one. We don't need to-
Stay with,
Yeah, 21 Beaver, yeah, right.
Yes.
It was, I did read 21 Beaver. But we can do them both. So we are doing both anyway.
we have the site plan for Beaver.
I don't remember anything about there being a widening issue.
I've been focusing on the Fortune Boulevard, and I apologize because I read Beaver and I thought it was really Fortune. That's why I
Do you want
have
to,
Fortune plans.
do you want to open the hearing for Fortune, since we've been,
Let's do Fortune because the notes I read from the planning board were Fortune.
okay, why don't you open, you know, read the
On the
thing.
application, which is on 310 Fortune Boulevard, proposes to develop and construct 52 rental unit apartments development site. So with not less than 13 of the units to be restricted as affordable for low to moderate income. Project eligibility site was on October 24th by the Housing Finance Committee. So I've been focusing strictly on Fortune, and that's been my focus. Everything we're talking about with this bus situation has been Fortune. So I have that plan too. We're sticking with Fortune right now.
Okay, let me just look at
Everything I read into the record was Fortune.
I can just speak quickly to, we'll take a look at what you mentioned relative to whether a hut makes sense or not. I can't make any commitments to that. We'll certainly take a look at that. We hear your comments. Going into the design, we definitely looked very closely at where the location of the driveway is and the slope and the turn. We've run all the models with fire trucks and all that going in there to make sure we had adequate radius and slope and all of that. We have reviewed that with the fire department. So from our standpoint, from an engineering standpoint, we do feel comfortable with that. Your peer reviewer is going to take a look at that as well, and we'll welcome any comments they may have. But from that end, I think we feel pretty comfortable from the radiuses work to get vehicles around there safely and into the site and out of the site, emergency vehicles as well, and that's what we try to size it for.
I'm just reading from the town planner.
No, I understand.
Engineer. So what I read was from the town engineer and town planner. Okay.
I understand.
All right, okay.
So, getting back to the school-aged children estimate for Fortune, our estimate is 5 potential new school-aged children because of the unit mix. Again, we are focusing more on one-bedrooms, and because it is a very small development to start with. With regard to the parking ratio, based on our research, I believe that our parking ratio is 1.72 spaces per unit, and Quill is at 1.21, Canso at 1.44, at an average of 1.32. But you can see that in the memos that I wrote.
We'll follow up with that on the parking ratio for the other two, but I believe it was 2 spaces per unit.
What you authorized me on the project should be,
Yeah.
the last three, yes, have all
They all devolved.
You have a condition in all of them.
And I understand their
We're asking for a
consensus
waiver.
that. And I know you're asking for a waiver, yeah.
So do you want to talk about the peer review
Yeah.
work that you need to do for, I guess, Fortune?
I'm sorry.
It's
And I
okay.
apologize.
It's okay.
I had the top folder, which was Fortune.
I'll catch up when you have two and the same applicant. I
Yeah.
get it completely. So we have As Lynn mentioned, we have had some meetings with a bunch of staff, which is what you asked us to do at the last meeting. We went through and had done that. We received peer review comment from sewer. We need to look at that further. It looks like they're looking for a lot of upgrades, and we just need to understand what flows are permitted, what flows are going there, and just work with them and look at that a little bit closer. It seemed like a lot that was requested there, but we can't speak to
Yeah,
that
there
now.
was a lot in the CEI letter, so
But that, I was talking sewer, so that was sewer. CEI, and it's a typical engineering peer review letter. It looks like there's
you're
a
going
lot.
to just go through each one and...
Yeah, the big thing where it really goes away, a lot of the comments where they just wanted backup data. They wanted manufacturing data to provide that. The biggest comment really on both is they want information on the existing drainage system. So in Fortune, there's a big existing drainage system that we're reusing. They just want some research and some investigation to know that it's...
Confirmation that the as-built were done as they were done.
Absolutely, and that we've engaged a consultant to go do that information. I don't have a date when that's going to be ready, but we don't have any issues with doing what's asked for in these letters, and our hope would be to do the study, do a response to the consultant, so they can come back hopefully with a clean letter to say things are addressed.
Perfect.
Again, as Len mentioned, we went with the fire department just to make sure they were comfortable. I didn't see a letter, but based on the conversations I was there, they were comfortable with it.
I think the only thing the fire department had a problem with, couldn't get access around the building.
That is correct. Early on, they had a concern with what we met on site with very, very early on.
During the Pell process,
Yeah.
before we made the changes.
Correct. So we met with them on site early on. We made some modifications based on what they asked us to do. We reviewed that with them, and they were comfortable with it. And essentially what is proposed is they have access on, vehicular access on 3 sides of the building, which fully meets code. And we removed any balconies on the back of the building, because they were concerned about that. And we worked that into the initial application. That hasn't been a change since we came to you. That was a change during our planning process. But we just wanted to confirm that that addressed their earlier concerns, which, again, verbally, they told us it did, and I don't...
So there's no pavement on either side of the building. It's called proposed reinforced lawn?
That's correct. And
Explain to me what proposed reinforced lawn is.
Absolutely. It's essentially where it's something that makes it look like grass, so it doesn't look like a sea of pavement, but it's reinforced. So there's a bunch of different products that you can use. You might have seen, what you see a lot now, it's those plastic kind of grids. They're in a grid section, and then they're covered with stone, and then soil and grass goes above it. So if a car or a fire truck drives on it, you're not going to get the rutting and all that you would get. It holds up structurally, but again, it's green, which everybody likes as opposed to...
So the fire chief is okay?
He was comfortable with that, and then we go to Beaver, we have a very similar situation there as well that I can talk about.
Do you want to talk about sort of the testing and the response for Fortune with regard to the peer review on civil?
Testing.
I thought you said that you need to go in, you said you need to go and look in the street.
Well, I already,
Okay.
yeah, that's what we talked about. It's not in,
So-
that's what we're doing. We hired a consultant to investigate the underground system, because you can't see it from the surface. You got to put cameras in there and see how things are working. So we've hired a consultant. I'm waiting for when that's going to be ready. And once I have that will help me address the majority of the comments in there.
So it's the same thing with regard to the comments from CEI, the civil comments on Fortune Boulevard. At this point in time, we don't see any issue with addressing them once that testing has been done. It's possible, just because it's winter and it's research, that we may not have the civil peer review response letter delivered in time for the next meeting, which is why I am early on suggesting that maybe traffic is the topic for that one.
Can I ask a question on the walkway?
Yeah.
Have you guys looked at the maximum slope of a walkway?
Yeah.
As far as, is that meeting?
Yeah, you'll notice the way the walk kind of meanders a little bit.
Yeah.
The purpose of doing that is to add length to the walkway, because if it's a little bit longer, I'm able to keep the slope a little bit flatter. So that's why it looks nicer, but that's the main purpose. So yes, we wanted to
So
make
you-
sure that it was,
You were able to meet the minimum.
that is correct.
And John, is that also the reason for what the planning director described as the overly circuitous route of the entrance drive?
I'm thinking that's
But
what he
maybe
was
he's looking at
referring
the
to.
sidewalk rather than the actual driveway.
I'm thinking, because I don't think it's a pretty
Yeah.
common turn in. It's not all that.
But that's why it's not coming straight down, right?
Unequivocally, it's just based on the grades, which you've all seen.
So
The
it's-
road goes up and then the site goes up, so we needed to provide a little bit of length for the walk.
Just
to make it-
appropriate engineering practice.
Absolutely.
And you don't believe that that's dangerous at all if it ever gets icy, going into two-lane traffic, anything like that?
No, because we've flattened it out. You'll notice whether the contour is flattened out at the bottom, you typically provide a landing area. So right at the bottom, it flattens out as well. And no, it's common slopes. We haven't done anything that's out of good engineering practice here.
And again, the property is going to be professionally managed. They are going to have people that are in charge of clearing the snow and of sanding and salting and whatever is necessary and allowed.
There's no way to cut down the gradient at all, just to help with that? I know, obviously, it would require a taller wall on the left side, but it would be a shorter wall on the right side. I know it'd be more of a cut. Is there a specific reason why it goes up?
Yeah, there's a reason. It's not so much the wall, because you're right, you give it on one side, you get on the other. It's really, we're trying to avoid an impact to where the drainage system is. We want to make sure that we're not cutting too deeply over that drainage system. So we're trying to, that's kind of our pinch point where we need to match a grade. I can show you better if I can approach.
Yeah, if you don't mind. This is kind of our
So you can
endpoint
see
here,
there's,
right?
see that little rectangle there? That's an underground drainage system.
Oh, okay.
So we really need to kind of match the grades
Right, yeah,
here.
yep.
That's kind of what was driving.
So this is your
driving
pinch point is right here?
that. Pretty much, yeah.
Basically in here?
Yeah, that's where we need to start matching the existing elevations. We can fill on it, which isn't going to help us.
Right.
Cutting it, we don't want to impact that drainage system because it was put in a while back. It's a pretty large drainage system.
And that continues somewhere, presumably?
What's the width of that, Dave?
Which,
Entrance coming in.
this here?
Oh, I think it's a full 24-foot entrance. I can confirm that, but I'm almost
Fire
positive.
chief can make that.
You have
radius
about
for the big
25 feet?
Yeah, we provided, when we met with the fire.
That's what I'm saying, is that just for like a retention area?
We reviewed that with them.
Would there be an adjustment? So is that just for like some kind of retention pond that's?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
That's exactly, it's an underground, I want to say it's 60-inch pipes or something like that. It's pretty large underground pipes for when that lot was originally developed, just how the drainage gets handled.
I mean, because the other thing is you're going to end up blocking the sidewalk.
Sidewalk.
All right, well, if we have room.
I got
I can
you.
understand that. That's,
Yeah, I mean, you're maxing it out unless there's some way to,
Yeah.
some clever way to turn it.
Yeah, that's why we kept pushing it as far as we did, and one of the important things as engineers we look at is we try to see the way the contour flattens out there.
Right.
So it's flat, so when you're at the bottom, you stop. What we don't want to do is come in and...
yep.
I
You never took a look at
I've
trying to
driven by
come in
both of them and I don't.
further down and utilize the existing one that's there and tee it off.
You're talking about over
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
We have
I asked you- I
No,
asked-
we have looked at that in the past. We have a wetland in the middle of it, and then we have essentially operational issues where you've got essentially the maintenance side of the car dealership, then you'd be kind of having residential traffic going through that area, and then you got to go through, there's a wetland channel right in the middle of that would need to be crossed.
I asked to have that looked at when we left the last time.
You
So did
probably,
you dive into that? or
No, I did look, that's what I'm saying. We looked at it.
You didn't provide anything that,
I don't have,
on paper saying that this is the reason why?
I can,
Or a plan. I just need some type of
Yeah, I can-
plan to show why that
Okay.
can't work, that's all.
I
You know,
understand.
like an overview of why it can't work.
The subject.
I understand.
He wants a response on,
Just to show why we
Some no
can't move
parking
our
signs.
entrance tram.
on Fortune, why we can't
Yeah,
move the
and to
entrance.
share it with the existing entrance.
that's the thing, is
that the car
if
lot
you
has.
park there,
Okay, thank you.
you're kind of making other cars come here, and now simultaneously, somebody's trying to turn in you got that potential impact,
Yeah.
right?
But it happens down at Deer Street now and
Okay?
every place else.
Yeah,
there-
as long as
It's just the big thing,
we
is
just
it's
get some-
operations between those two. You don't want to mix residential uses and the commercial uses is
Yeah,
the big
Yeah, it's like,
big issue.
Marriott's a residential use, and then the rest of it is retail
I can
use,
see that happening.
medical use,
Yeah.
so,
You got
and it
stacked
flowed
6
well.
or 7 cars.
It flowed, that
Somebody comes
entrance
around
down
to get around them.
on
This person goes to turn in.
85,
Can't go into it.
when you come in to get to Lowe's
Right?
Yep.
and Courtyard Marriott, that worked perfectly. It worked perfectly, and the grades actually worked really well. You know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're
Looked at
talking
that?
about.
Have you actually looked at it?
Well, like I said, I think we did look at it, and the concern was with providing residential, essentially mixing the two developments
Well,
right
you
now.
have it over there now.
It's like,
You have
But we-
you have the resident, you have the hotel there.
You already know what's gonna
And you
happen.
go up to Lowe's and
Widen
medical
this.
center.
No, I understand, but that's a hotel, not a full-time apartment. So I just from a marketability standpoint.
Courtyard Marriott is a full-time hotel, so it's similar.
Yeah,
It's a residential use. And some even have conventions there. And
Correct.
then everybody else has to go to the medical center or go to Lowe's.
We'll do them by month.
That's all I wanted you to do was take a look at that to see if it would flow better instead of having these big cuts.
Yep, okay. we
And
can-
I asked, that's all I asked to do, but no one listened to me.
No, I'm not trying to be difficult, though. I did
I'm not trying to
look
be
at it.
difficult. I
I'll provide some
wanted
info.
someone to look at it, but, because I said it's similar to what's over there now, and that works really well. That's all I'm saying. You actually could end up with a better flow, but that's my personal opinion.
Take a look.
Okay, that's all. That's all I asked the last time. Okay. Yeah, and you're going to be addressing the CEI responses.
Yeah, no issues there.
I don't, Chris, do you have any, you want to look at this, Chris? Do you have any issues?
Take a look.
I don't think I have any other questions.
no, I don't mind. I don't want to cut in. Do you mind if I just bring this
Go
up?
ahead.
I kind of feel like we already know for a fact, if this were to be approved this way, that there's going to be cars that are going to be lined up along the side, as they always are when it's cold out, because they're kids and they wait. And as much as...
It happens now.
It happens
Right, it happens
now.
every-
20 cars.
Yep.
in
It just
line.
happens.
And there's only, how many living up there?
And so what's going
25?
to, this is, I know what you're saying, you're going to have management, it happens, period.
We're
Okay.
estimating 5 school-age children.
You only need one car for
Kindergarten
that.
all the way through high school.
That's fine.
Why are you saying, I don't
I
understand why you're
haven't,
saying there's going to be 20
I haven't
cars.
finished my comment, with all due
No,
respect.
what I said was,
Hold on, so if you don't mind, if I can just finish speaking. So knowing that this is going to happen, because it happens all the time, especially when it's cold, because nobody wants to see their kid just sitting there freezing while they're waiting for a bus. Is there any way to address that, knowing that it's going to happen, by potentially actually widening out a spot specifically for those 5 cars?
On
Correct.
our driveway, you're looking for a
Because
pull-off.
what's going to happen, this is what I see.
Well, we can look at it. I mean, that's all we
This is
can
what's
do.
going to happen, and I can illustrate it to you as
No,
well.
I know exactly.
But people are going to be parked along the side, okay? Somebody else is going to be running around the bend. They're going to go around that car. So now they're going to choke up that entrance. Somebody's going to be coming the opposite direction in 2-lane traffic. They're going to go to turn in. They're going to be blocked off by another car that has to move over because of the cars that are parked on the side. And then they're going to have to stop, and there's 2-lane traffic going the other way, and you get an
I
impact.
follow what you're looking for. But absolutely, we'll take a look at it and see.
That would eliminate or alleviate that problem.
Of course, it would help.
yeah,
We can
it'll
pretend like,
definitely help the
we
end.
can pretend like management will be on top of it,
Definitely
but they
help
may
the
not be.
end, yeah.
Right.
They're not always going to be
I'll
there.
take a look at what we can do there.
There was a project in Milford called Zane Ridge, and it was a private development, and it was, I don't know, maybe 70 freestanding single-family homes under a condominium association. They had areas for just parking within the development. But as families grew, and the development had 2 children, now the development has 30 kids. They were lined up from all the way inside, all the way up to Route 16. They had to finally put 10 parking spaces at the top of the hill because of the bus, because they were having flow problems getting in and out because all these cars were parked. I can tell you right now, and there isn't a lot of kids up at Stone Ridge 1, there's probably 20-something.
It's 25, I think.
25 kids in that first phase, and there's at least 15 or 20 cars lining the side of the road towards the end of Deer Street and 85, waiting for the bus to show. We know it's going to happen here, whether it's 5 kids. There'll be 5 cars that's going to be stacked over there, waiting for the bus.
And the scary
All
thing is
I'm
you
asking
can't see.
for, let's look at it and see if we can provide,
Going this
even if
way
it's
or
3 or
that way.
4 or 5 spaces, somewhere in that stacking area, because this is a tough curve. That's all we're asking for.
You have 40-mile-an-hour traffic, 2 lanes, and then if the person that's turning in doesn't see the other car that's just trying to get to the side of it, they're going to have to stop. And they're stopping when you have 2 lanes of traffic going 40 miles an hour. It's a problem.
I understand what you're looking for. We'll take a look at it, see if there's something we can do.
Any other questions?
I just, I mean, you can tell me, my wife's a principal in town. I work at Milford High School. You can tell me till you're blue in the face, you're going to only have 6 kids, 5 kids in that property. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen. You can tell me that right now. 5 kids move in. Someone decides to sell in 3 weeks because they want to go bigger and better, and they move in, and they got 2 more kids from another town.
Sell
Now all of a
what?
sudden we're at, what do you mean, so what?
These are, you said sell,
Sell.
S-E-L-L. So
Right, so they want to sell their property.
these are rental,
Okay,
these
well,
are
they want to get
rentals.
out and move in, and then now somebody with no kids has a 2-bedroom because that's all that they could get. Now somebody's going to move in with 2 kids, 2 young kids.
We have overcrowded coming, we have overcrowded.
Okay, so just, I do want to be 100% clear that these are rental units, they're not for
That's-
sale units.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm just, my
Okay,
point is.
that's all, you
Okay,
just lost
I'm
me.
sorry.
I hear what you're saying. Again, we have a very different unit mix than the other properties that exist
agree
in
with all
town
that.
today. We have many more one bedrooms, and we have made our findings based on that. I understand, we've heard everything that you've said. We will look into,
And I know
these
there's nothing that
issues.
you can do to control about what your numbers say. I'm just telling you, it's,
We're basing them on
basing
real
them on-
information that's available today. The reason we didn't study the older developments, sorry, my computer is frozen and I've been trying to find a highlighter for 10 minutes. So the reason we didn't study the older developments is because, quite frankly, they are less expensive, and that is why they are attracting more families.
right, like your letter to Chairman said on your,
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, they're.
I agree, these would
They're
be
a totally
completely
different
different than
animal.
what's
If you
there.
looked at the
Yes.
number of school-age children at the older projects that had larger units that are priced whatever $500 lower, that is where the families are going because that's what they can afford. So.
I can tell you even on the ones over on Stone Ridge 1, they're trying to jam 3 and 4 people, 3 or 4 kids into a 2-bedroom house, 2-bedroom apartment, and it's happening.
Okay.
And they've had to evict people for the overcrowding aspect.
I was going to say, yeah, there's state building code as
And
to.
that's what's been going on. They'll
Yeah.
try and jam them in,
Yeah.
and it happens. So I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on that one?
David?
Site, all set on this one? Yep. All right, now we'll go with the one that I really announced the first. All right, ready? Just want to make sure I don't miss it.
You're switching to the other hearing right
Yeah,
now?
we're going to go with the first one that I originally did.
We're going to Beaver.
You want to
Right,
schedule another night of this one?
Oh, yeah, we're going to probably do them both the same night, I would assume.
If you're going to keep doing that, that's fine.
Okay, so we're
I
not.
think that's probably easier.
You could hit traffic for both of them on the same.
Yeah, well, some information on one may be a little bit more delayed.
Well, if you want to put the board, give me this.
Oh, this is Beaver now. That was Fortune Boulevard.
Give me this book.
Give me my pen back. Thank you. Okay. The plan for that one, Steve.
This is fortunate.
Building plans, I need the site plan.
off as recreation. Yeah, but let's see. Dog washing, no dog washing. Dog washing?
To now put parking spaces.
We have the action, Gary.
Probably should, right? Everybody's got animals. They can be animals. Not really worried about that. That's minor stuff. The pinch point on these things, they use it really the site.
Has anything changed on Beaver site plan wise?
No, nothing has changed on either of the plans. Really, the only thing I said that changed is we just met with staff to get comments. And I can run through similar to last time.
Where's the site plan?
I don't have the site plan.
It's the building
Site
plan.
plan. Is there a site plan over there for Beaver? I don't have any site plans, hold on, maybe it's in here.
Start my computer, maybe it'll.
Don't lose these, because this is the old, there's no site plan over there, besides the original book, copies of the site plan.
I apologize.
That's okay, no, yeah.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll give, you guys can share this one, but I need this back. There's no site plan we're talking about. Site plan?
That's the architectural.
No, that's not much of a problem, that's fine. Okay.
Broadway Road. Yeah. Beaver Street, correct. McDonald's.
Yep.
Is everything upside down?
All right, there's just a couple of notes on this one here, and then
Oh, is it facing?
I'm not going to dive into the
That's facing that way.
That way.
the CEI,
is the
only
rear.
because you've got a copy of it.
Rear of the
You'll be
Exact same
you'll be-
comment for that
You'll be
one.
addressing that anyways.
Fire lane,
On
Okay.
the way around.
which is not,
All right, guys, can I go through this and then you can make your comments or ask questions? Planning board the planning board met on this at 12/17, made unfavorable recommendation based on the deficiencies noted in the town plan letter. Town plan letter indicates 21 Beaver Street located on the Bill Industrial Park and is zoned IB Industrial. It consists of one 4-story building with 103 one, 2, and 3-bedroom residential units. As residential units, all units will be eligible to be counted for the town's SIJ, which is currently dated at updated to 9.5. A 14.64-acre lot is located southwesterly of the intersection of Medway Street with 109 and Beaver Street. They reviewed the subject proposals and noted the following supposed deficiencies. The only access to the site is from Beaver Street, which is a one-way northbound. The southbound I-495 ramps are located only 475 feet to the east of the site. Residential traffic will compete with existing heavy truck traffic from the industrial park. Traffic counts on Beaver Street are running 4,078 EDT, and that was Tetra Check from June 2023. Driveway location 120 feet north of the existing town-approved location. The driveway location will result in delays caused by stacking from Medway Street intersection. And number 7, there are only 157 off-street parking spaces for the 103 dwelling units. The residential units are proposed close to an existing commercial and industrial uses. Inadequate screening and buffer provided from the adjacent commercial uses and gas station. Also, very minimal usable open space or recreation areas are being provided. And number 11, 79% or 11.5 acres of the 14-acre lot is wetlands and/or floodplain. Therefore, they sent over, noted these deficiencies and sent over unfavorable recommendation. With that, this one here is sewer department. This came from infrastructure review. We've completed a general review of the sewer infrastructure that would be impacted by the project referenced above, and have determined that work will be needed on the Route 495 pump station and/or along the force main. This includes, but is not limited to, the need for additional wet well capacity, replacement of at least 1,000 feet of force main, and the lining of at least 1,000 feet of incoming gravity sewer. John, you have a comment on this one?
Basically what it says, we're in the midst of getting some flow data from the pump station.
You are? Okay, and you'll supply that over as well?
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments I should be aware of, or is this pump station, is this upgraded at one point or not?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. All right. Okay, David Condrey, same one as the last one on the water.
Yep.
The flow is still there. Would be interesting to see those numbers from those last two complexes. Really like to see how that's, I'm hoping that the estimates are really higher versus what the use is going to be.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's a pool in this location, is there?
No.
Okay. With that, the same report comes through for traffic. The same report comes through concerning the parking ratio per units that were done on this one as well. Do you have any other comments?
Basically, again, we estimated school-age children, we located, the school bus drop-off pickup area, we estimated parking ratios. In order for our team to respond in depth to the water and sewer requests, we're really going to need that, that data. And I guess I just want to make sure that we have permission for our consultant to work, for Bowler to work offline with water and sewer, because it's hard for us to estimate, use, capacity, cause and effect without the data.
You're doing it for the school kids. Why can't you do it for the sewer and water?
I did it for the school kids because the superintendent gave me the school-age children counts. I did it for the parking because we went out and we counted it. However, we can estimate how many gallons of water or sewer we might need based on our unit mix, but what we can't do is determine what other users, for example, are using your current pipes, your current pumps, and so on and so forth.
That information you should be able to work with that, yes.
Right, so I'm just saying that I don't know that these two particular issues are going to get solved overnight without the data coming from the town. Right now, we don't have the
Is that something that can
data.
be compiled, some data to get to them so that they can do their thing, or?
Like I said, we're trying to get the flows,
one-way, right?
what the pump station actually pumps right now,
Okay.
and get that stuff to them, and we can get the size of the wet wells and all that.
Yeah, I mean,
So if you had an estimated timeframe, if we push this off for a full month for both hearings, does that give you enough time to get it to them and then they can? Yeah, that'll work?
They can come down and work with us on it.
That would be with the town.
With them on it, we don't have a problem with that.
Okay,
We've already discussed it at one meeting with this already.
okay,
We can down
It would
and
make sense that way. You don't have to
look at this stuff and go for that.
okay.
And it would have been helpful on
All right.
We did give them drawings of the existing sewer and stuff already.
Did you get those?
Correct, they took some pictures.
I can check with Tim, I don't remember seeing that, but.
I met with some from the Bowler
Yeah,
Corporation.
Tim and Tarek were there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're just going to, and we'll coordinate whether it's going to need flow data, what's approved, what's going there, and all that.
You guys coordinate what you're looking for, we'll get you the information, I'll try and get the information. I'd like to be able, the sooner you guys get it, of course, the better we'll be for the next hearing, of course. So we'll try to do that. So with that, Dave, I'll turn it over to you on this site. So just so you're aware, the planning board has approved the curb cut further down,
from what's depicted on the plan?
down here. So it's now, they're moving it up here. Because they
Okay.
didn't want it too close to this intersection. So currently, right now, there's an approved plan that's further down,
Okay.
okay?
What exists.
Oh, for,
If you don't
yeah.
mind coming back to me, just because I'd like to have some
So-
time with
So
it.
that original one is what is approved.
Right, so I think the next question is going to be, based on the comments, why couldn't the existing entrance be utilized?
So, good comment. Well, one of the first things we did when we hired our traffic engineer was to take a look at everything, how things worked out from a sight distance standpoint. And what they had actually determined was the existing curb cut that services the parking lot now does not meet adequate sight distance, which is the reason why we're moving it, just so we can actually increase our sight distance. So that was the main reason for moving the driveway.
So you're talking about your sight distance further down Beaver Street or to the light?
I think it's heading further down.
Because of the curve?
We're farther away from the intersection.
Yeah. So we're moving it, the existing curb cut is further from the intersection. We're moving it closer to the intersection.
I know.
Yeah, the reason for that, like at Beaver Street, right at the edge of our property, it starts to curve, right? And that curve creates a sight distance issue, which is why they propose to move it closer to the intersection.
Starts to turn. So
It's heavily vegetated in there.
Very
So
much.
let me ask you a question. Did you try and work through this with the town planner?
We have not.
Cooperate and see if we can, you both can come to a selective hearing instead of trying to jam this without having that communication?
So I don't think we're trying to jam anything, and again, this was
They
our...
clearly don't like it. I'm not an engineer.
We,
Which is, I think-
All I'm saying is, if you can just meet with them, they'll try and work with it. You give them the
Mr. Chair,
reason.
can I ask a question? You keep talking about town engineer, but
It's a
all
town
I've seen
planner.
is the town planner.
He's not an
Who is
engineer.
not an engineer.
We have a town engineer.
Okay, but I haven't seen any comments from the town engineer saying there's a problem with,
No, there haven't been any comments from her.
okay, so the only person who said there's a problem with the location of the driveway is the
Was the
town
town
planner,
planner.
who's not an engineer.
Right. So we'll...
We have an engineer,
What I'm asking...
you have a peer review engineer looking at it.
So what I'm asking is, I think a conversation with the town engineer will rectify this deficiency.
So I'm happy to reach out to Liz and review that with her. I think that is something also that's going to be reviewed by your independent peer reviewer as part of, that's typically how the traffic engineers will typically do that. I'll reach out to Liz, but you will have that covered through their peer review who will comment on that driveway, and I'm confident they're going to be comfortable with it. If they're not, we'll make changes that
I
need
mean,
to be
I
made.
wasn't familiar with the sight distance issue,
Yeah.
so that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
It was not mentioned in the traffic peer review as being
You
problematic.
got this curve right here, so your sight distance, you can't get around that.
Oh, right, because you wouldn't care about it going
That's
that
right
way.
at the corner where that old street used to go, that houses across the street.
Yeah.
And that street was there, so you're right, that is right at the end, right at the corner. You can't see 50 feet back.
So how many feet from this entrance to the light is it?
I don't have that info.
This is where
but I
it
can-
currently
Is that the
is.
bend?
This is where it currently is.
Yeah.
You don't have the.
You're
sight
right on the
distance.
tree line.
Right.
So that's why engineers would prefer to have it with greater sight
I mean,
distance.
I think a simple communication with the town engineer.
I don't mind
probably
that.
just make that-
That
Yeah,
makes
I'll reach out to Liz.
That's fine. Okay. Again, I wasn't familiar
Yeah,
with
if
the
anything,
sight
you could even
distance.
move it even closer. What's the
Exactly.
difference at that
Yep.
point?
So the sight distance triangle is created based on the speed of the traffic on the street. So it's an iterative process where they first measure how fast cars are going on the street, and that allows them to create how large or small that triangle is to ensure that cars pulling in and out can see properly.
I personally do.
I don't mind if you locate, yeah, I don't mind.
Again, that's fine. I wasn't aware of the
Yeah,
sight
no,
distance
it's-
because I didn't drive down.
It's a blind spot.
Usually I try to drive through when I'm before the meetings. Okay.
We would be happy to go on site walks with the board at both sites if that is of interest to you, if you think that would be helpful, if and when you think there's a good time
I'm
to do
pretty
that.
familiar with the site. I just wasn't aware of that sight distance until we brought it up.
Yeah, when you're there, it's definitely noticeable if you're looking.
So from a stacking standpoint, how many feet is it from here to the light, from your entrance to the light?
I don't know. I can provide that to you at the next meeting.
I think that we're better off leaving that to the traffic peer reviewers.
Yeah, I'd like to see the traffic peer review on that because, clearly it's...
Dave, I don't mean to interrupt. I have a simple question, and I do not understand why that road is, if this is something that's going to go in there, why do we continue to have that road as a one-way street?
That's a good question. I think that's been trying to for a long time.
We
Controlled by
agree.
the federal no access zone in the federal.
Oh, the 400-foot no
We
access to the
fought for
ramp.
years to try.
That's what it is.
The town's been trying.
Not had any
I thought it was a town, so
The
it's a
400,
That
it's
was the
federal,
federal.
400-foot no access zone from a ramp.
That's my answer, there we
There you
go.
go. We fought
I
like hell.
had the same thing on 85. It's a 400-foot
It
no
just,
access
it
road.
would
That's
make
why
it so much easier for these
Everybody's got to go
people that
around.
had a rental there, instead of going all the way down and then going
Oh,
up
trust me, I'm
Birch
sure I'd
Street
love to
and
have
all the
it
way
two-way.
around
I
again.
don't know, it doesn't bother me.
The town's
I
been
find it
trying.
relaxing.
You go back in the
What,
records, it goes back.
To not like be on the
25
highway, to
years.
be on a small little leisurely road. I don't know. It's just me. I like side roads and stuff like that.
No, Town's tried for years.
So,
Okay, so we're asked and answered why
500
why
feet
there's
off
nothing
ramp.
we can do about making it a two-way.
We didn't know that.
Yeah.
The town attorney finally let us in on the
I
secret.
was gonna say, that's,
400-foot no access from a
that's the great thing about these meetings is that, you know, mystery solved. Thank you.
Great things about these meetings.
Somebody smarter than us.
Yeah, Jerry jumped in.
So, I'm sure you're going to want some privacy around this site, correct?
I believe that there is a landscape plan that has been created
Is there
for,
any fencing or anything?
we can certainly bring our landscape architect to the next meeting to talk about that. It was a map.
Like a replication?
We have split rail fence, and we brought in,
Is that a chain link fence?
no, split rail, like a triple, like a horse fence. And then we brought in 16 to 18-foot blue spruce,
Oh, yeah, I saw those, yeah.
all the way up the street.
Yeah.
All the way up to McDonald's.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then we put boxwood hedge on the other side of that fence.
All right.
So the outside is pretty well landscaped. I think it would stay.
Right.
And then the rest of it.
I got a,
Yeah, that is, that landscaping along.
I remember they got some nice tall trees.
Yeah, and there's a
It's
there's a
beautiful.
berm and
Yeah,
everything.
it's beautiful. That's proposed to stay there, and that screening is.
And then you went through the process of the fire department concerning this courtyard, correct?
That is correct, and that's really the same thing we were talking on the last site. Right through the courtyard, we designated an area with those pavers, so if they needed to get in there, we don't have anything there other than that reinforced paver where they could just drive right through. We reviewed the location with them, we reviewed the material, and they were comfortable with that. You had a question.
just the thought that you have like an outcropping of wetlands that cuts in the middle. Would there be any way to just do like a replication area, take that back and?
So that was, that's old. That outcropping, I think, was when the parking lot was built. So there's no wetlands on site. We're working,
No, not on site. I mean off-site, just to potentially do like a recreation area where you just have like one, I don't know if it's
What are you
valuable.
talking about, Dave?
Right over here. Right, see, you have like a upland, you have all this upland over
Right,
here, except for
right.
this one area, and if you could
Do a small replicate, 5,000 square
replicate,
feet.
now this is all dry, you'd have a nice recreation area. Just a thought.
We have a pretty huge, that courtyard is pretty big for our passive recreation.
Dave, we maxed out the 5,000 when we built the parking lot.
Okay,
We did
He
replicate.
already did it.
Gotcha, yeah.
Straighten out that back line.
Yeah, we're also trying
see, I gotcha.
to have less pervious area on the
it wasn't gonna be,
project.
it was gonna be pervious, like a recreation area that's pervious, not something that you'd asphalt, but,
Okay.
but that's all right, I just thought
Yeah.
maybe it was a good
Yeah.
idea.
yeah, I think that.
But you've already maxed out your,
Maxed out what we're allowed to do under the, under the statute.
So in the courtyard, tell me what you have in the courtyard, just a, is this a grass area with seats in here? I can't,
Yeah, there's some grass areas, there's some paver areas, there's some tables, some pergolas, this is a
Yeah.
handful of other amenities. I think that the final kind of program would be done later, but we've identified the areas for certain sitting areas, certain sitting walls, pergolas, grills, those types of things.
There's an opportunity to really make it a beautiful passive recreation area. It's fairly early in the planning stages to know every single, piece of it. But
There's lots
it's
of
going to be a great amenity. We also,
Yeah.
the way that the architect configured the building was so that the common space in the building is going to be facing out to the courtyard as well.
Right.
So,
Everything will be seen right through the courtyard.
correct, yeah, yeah. So it'll be like indoor, outdoor sort of amenity space, if you will.
And you're not doing any type of dog area or any of that?
I thought that we had, did we pick a dog area somewhere? We talked about it. For sure,
We talked
for
about
sure
it.
we'll have a doggy station. That is just to make sure at least that we have a garbage can and bags. But I don't know
Yeah, we don't
that,
specifically have one.
no, because people can walk down, they can walk down Beaver Street with their dog, right?
Correct.
Yeah, we figured they could walk down Beaver Street.
In that area that Dick was talking about, it's going to be open, people walk their dogs across the
There's
street.
no sidewalks on that side of the street, on either side, right? Nothing.
No, we're putting a walk along our side, heading down towards
Down
McDonald's.
toward the
So you're
main
gonna,
street.
so you're gonna be putting a walk from
Yeah, it's right here.
the entrance all the way through here, okay.
Yeah, so they can kind of walk down to get into McDonald's. that
And
back.
then they can dive right into the intersection and get there.
Where's McDonald's anyway?
It was nice to see that the internal
McDonald's, is it here or
sidewalk
here?
is done.
It's here, right?
No, it's right here.
Is it? Oh, yeah, well,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna stay here.
it's right here.
So the bus is supposed to go one way down there.
oh, yeah,
They
it's got
will
a
be
parking,
crossing
that's
the
right, it's
street.
got a parking lot here, and then it sits here. I got you. And where's the walkway over here?
Right here. No, here.
And then it curls.
How can they, I mean, if they're going down the street, they're going to be dropping off and picking up on the same side of the street because it's a
Yeah,
one-way
it's
street.
actually going to be on the opposite side of the street.
I'm not the coordinator.
well.
Is there any thought given to the, and I may have missed it out, I apologize, but considering that it's bordering the McDonald's and the Kohl's parking lot, is there any thought of considering or putting up some sort of fence or something up there so somebody that's at McDonald's just can't go walk over to the
We-
courtyard and start using?
There is a fence there.
Yeah, there is a fence.
There's a 6-foot or 7-foot
Yeah.
white
Okay, and
PVC
the same
fence.
with the
Yeah,
people from the Kohl's parking lot?
correct. We specifically,
All the one down
Okay,
between.
well, I just don't want to see someone, say at McDonald's.
we don't want anyone coming onto our property unless they have business on our property.
It's completely fenced in that whole
Okay.
property.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to get a request from your tenants to have some type of gate there to actually go to Kohl's? I would say that would probably come up. You know what I mean? They just come out of the building, and if there's a dry area,
We'll have you negotiate that with Alex.
Yeah, good luck.
I was going to say, I don't think we want to go there at this point. The
No,
goal is
no, we
to,
don't. No.
the goal is, security is really important. As you all know, insurance is very expensive. Fences help in so many ways with insurance.
so can we do something, whether it be a crosswalk on the street, since the kids are going to be crossing the street to get to the bus?
Dave, why are they crossing the street? If they're coming up one
Because
way,
the door to the bus is on the 495 site. So when they open up the doors, they have to come out of your complex, cross the street to get to the bus.
that's the same everywhere. That's the same on Dilla Street.
Right.
It's everywhere, all over town.
These are heavy trucks coming down this street.
I'm not sure that they actually, I think what they do, they put the stop sign, everybody stops, because what I've seen is
And then they
typically they'll park,
Around the front of the bus.
they'll walk around the bus.
Yeah, I know they go in front of the bus.
Yeah, but they won't- the bus
Sometimes
won't
people
go-
just go right by the stop sign.
No, but the bus won't pull to the other side. They'll stay on the side where the development is, and then they'll put.
Oh, that's right, too, it's one way.
It's a
So they have to stay
single
close to
lane
that.
Yeah, so they'll
Okay.
they'll be on our
Not
side.
an issue.
I keep on thinking that's two-way, and it's
Yeah.
never going to be two-way.
Nope.
Okay. All right.
According to the feds.
So you do have the school bus waiting area in this one, okay.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Any other comments? Anybody in the audience want to be heard on this one? Dave, you have any other comments?
No, our rolling request that we talked to a couple of reps in Lower about trying to get a tie-in to the Kohl's parking lot for water, just to help.
Oh, to loop it.
Help the fire flows in the whole area.
Is that going to happen?
I think, to his earlier comments, it's, we don't control that property.
Yeah, okay.
you know.
He's a really good guy, he's just tough.
Known him all my life.
Alex Mallory.
Alex.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I'll have to see what I can do with him.
Haven't seen Alex in ages.
That's
Maybe
right.
for the fire
That's right,
thing,
it's Alex.
maybe for fire protection, he might,
I think.
but for a gate?
Because it would help him too. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's going to help him as well.
Well, that was my point. You got anything on that will help in the letter format that you can give me?
What? Yeah, I put it in here.
Okay. To loop it, to loop it.
Yeah, we have.
Where would it get, whereabouts would it be?
A
do you know?
request. What's that?
Whereabouts would that
The
happen?
water main actually runs almost close to the center.
It does.
There's a current fence right now.
Yeah.
That's good.
On the Kohl's parking lot
We're going
side.
to find
It's real
Kohl's
close.
corporate
You
and
can
ask
see
them.
there's a hydrant down there.
Yeah.
Right behind the tire place or whatever the heck it is.
Yeah, right, don't get that.
But you'll see there's a hydrant there, so it's not that far into the
Property line for them to connect.
Okay.
But again, it would help him, it would help his plow.
But you haven't had a discussion with him? All right. See if we can get that discussion going.
I mean, it's okay when we
That'll help
ask,
you, right?
he worked with Noria because we tied through Noria's parking lot into his.
We've already, we did clarify
So why don't we,
Yeah, I think-
we'll go down that road and
this
see
for this
if we
question.
can address
I think
that.
for water, he wouldn't have a problem.
It's a town way.
Especially if they just did it to Noria.
Yeah.
It's not our job.
All right. Any other comments, questions?
Nope.
All right, we need to now take a look at the schedule.
So, So we have no problem meeting again in a month to go over traffic and obviously update you on other matters. We will make sure that we have our traffic peer reviewer. We hope that.
I'm just hoping the information will be back in time for,
Yeah, that, we have been assured that we will get you something with, at the latest, the 5th of February. So if you want to meet in a month, we're fine with that. On the 13th or the 20th of February should be fine, probably the 20th, I would
I would
say.
say, I was focused on the 20th only for,
Okay.
give enough time for sewer and water to get whatever they need over.
We should double check though with John to make sure that's going to be enough time for him to get what we need.
Well,
for
that's
the
why
water.
that's why I want to go out a month, and I think that should be enough, right, John?
And I'm looking at the calendar.
We may, as I said, we may not solve the water and sewer until we get to conditions, but we really need to get through the rest of the substantive stuff with the peer reviewers on traffic, hopefully, and then
Right, but
stormwater the
you
next
had
one.
mentioned before that you wanted information to back up to.
That
to
is
get-
going
Yeah,
to be
we
an
need some
ongoing,
info.
that's going to be an
Right.
ongoing discussion,
right.
yeah.
Could we, I have a conflict on the 20th.
Okay, what date?
Could we look at the 13th to do traffic? Because we'll be,
I'm not
should be ready by then, no?
If we get it in on the 5th, that gives them another one.
Okay, never
We
mind.
can run it on the 18th and 19th.
Wait a minute, let me look on 18th or 19th, hang on.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so we could do 18th and 19th.
I can do 18th or 19th, Jonathan.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll be back by then.
It's a Tuesday or a Wednesday. 18th is a Tuesday,
February vacation.
Monday's a holiday. What's Monday's?
I'm doing tomorrow.
President's Day.
February vacation.
Back on the 18th.
That's vacation.
So it looks like we can't do the
That's
18th, but we
vacation
could do the
Yeah,
19th.
that's school vacation, week, so that might be
It's
tough
on
for
vacation
people.
week for,
What about the
Probably won't be
24th?
around.
He won't be around.
No.
You don't want to lose a board member. He won't be around. It's vacation week.
talking about the 24th.
24th.
24th, 25th?
I could do the 25th.
24th, 25th, 26th?
TV commercial.
24th is not.
We can't do 24th.
24th, probably not.
I can do 25, 26,
25th?
21?
25 or
It's like a
20.
sitcom.
Wait a
Tuesday.
minute. I can only do 25th. I've got to be in Saugus.
25th?
You said
Going
yes-
once?
Yes on the 25th or no on the 25th?
Yes to the 25th.
Everybody
Wait a
okay
minute.
for the 25th?
I don't think Tarek can be here. Hang on one
I thought that
second.
was March.
Hang on, yeah.
He said March. We're fine for
Tarek.
February.
25th
It's March. Okay, yes, we're fine. Okay,
Tuesday?
25th.
25th to Tuesday.
Make it,
Yeah, and we may, if we have that extra half week, if we can get to stormwater, we certainly will.
Okay.
We're not trying to slow,
We'll run in the same time frame. We'll run 6:30, unless you wanted to push it up another half an hour. But some people are coming from out of town to the traffic, so
It's to go at 6 o'clock versus 6:30?
I don't want to put any pressure on you.
It's,
I don't want to put any pressure on you. 6:30 is fine.
does that work for you? Yeah, it is hard to get here from Wellesley at first.
I'm saying, I don't want to put any
6:30
pressure
works
on you.
fine.
6:30.
It was
From Wellesley to here?
I just took Route 16. It was very relaxing.
It's not relaxing.
Really?
16 is like 109. It's not relaxing.
6:30.
6:30 the 25th, you're going to continue both hearings?
Yeah.
Jerry, how long have you been doing this?
I don't know, 45 years, something in that range. Not this, no, not this, no. A lot of things.
Yeah.
Do I look that old? So I-
No.
Hopefully, what's his,
I do, trust me, I do.
hopefully
Yeah,
No, it just
Jason's
seems
retired.
like-
He's only retired.
You're
I
okay
know
for
from
that?
1991.
Dave, you okay for that?
Yeah, whenever I came to a meeting.
I've been here for 12 years.
Dave, you okay for
I
that?
couldn't
You
leave the
got the
office at 5
vacation?
o'clock and be here at 5.
I take vacation, so.
oh, yeah,
No
okay.
days off.
I haven't had a
Stated I
vacation.
end up putting it on, and I
Yeah,
haven't.
you're just on
I
vacation.
have not taken 1 week off in over 2 years.
Well, that's your own fault.
You can sit in my stead, you can watch 3 kids while they ride.
No, I ain't doing that. I've done that one time. And I'll tell you, I loved it.
Again.
It's over.
Oh, okay.
Especially when you get older. Okay. So we're good on the 25th at 6:30. We have a motion to continue till the
Second.
25th at 6:30.
I'll try and do
There's a
notes
second.
when I get home.
Motion by Mark, second by John. All those in favor? Opposed? That's unanimous.
It's all for.
Patrick, thank you, and thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Comments?